All right. Hello and welcome to the Rocky Sports Talk Sheet. Today we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs and some sporting news updates. I do have my Lakers hat on. I am supporting my Lakers in the playoffs, but I just want to start out saying and explain why I haven't been watching the playoffs, even though I'm a diehard Lakers fan and I want the Clippers to win or the Lakers to win. I just said Clippers. Hell no, I don't want them to win. Hell no. I do not want the Clippers to win. Here's the thing. I'm still really ticked off that LeBron can go and have a photo shoot, be around 20 plus people. They have all these protocols um, for every NBA player, staff, faculty. And the one player that doesn't have to follow it seems to be this LeBron James, Queen of China, that LeBron James can just do whatever the hell he wants, when he wants, and take his sweet ass time getting back from his little injury. And then on top of that, go do events and not have to sit out or do 10 days, quarantine, nothing. He doesn't have to do nothing. He just gets to play 2 days later. Like, how's that fair? Because you can't say that, oh well, we need the big name superstars. That's why. Really? Because this happened to James Harden. He had to sit out. I think James Harden's a top 5 player in this whole entire league. So how does James Harden have to sit out, but Queen James gets to do whatever the hell he wants? That's the NBA. If y'all notice, just go back to let's just go back to the last 5 years. You can go back to the last decade. Look at the NBA's numbers going down and down and down and down. There's a reason. Probably because, like me, everybody's tired of turning on and trying to get sports news, and every fucking day the same debates on LeBron James or Jordan. LeBron James or Jordan. It's fucking stuffed down our goddamn throat like a goddamn penis. It's fucking stupid. You don't need to do it every fucking day. That's probably one of the big reasons why the NBA and the viewership's gone down. Because people are just annoyed and tired of it and sick of hearing the same shit over and over and over again. I mean, let's look at this. I guarantee you guys, NBA games have less viewership than the TNT Talk Crew with Shaq and Charles Barkley. I guarantee you their ratings are higher than the actual NBA game. That's sad. That's fucking sad. LeBron just retires, and the next big whatever the next big thing comes later on. I don't care. I have AD. I'm cool with that. Give me another superstar to go with AD. I'll take my chances in LA. But I am tired of him being able to do whatever he wants and the softest commissioner in all of sports, Adam Silver, fucking caving in that. Caving to LeBron like his bitch every time. It's not the NBA, it's the LeBron James League. And that's not how it's supposed to be. You can't suspend players, you can't fine players. Hell, Dennis Schroeder, he had to serve shit. You can't tell other players you're not big enough, you're not important enough, you have to quarantine. But LeBron James is the league, so he can do whatever he wants. That's not right to all these other players. Just because they're not on his level doesn't mean that they don't bust their asses, and train and practice just as much as he does. So here, here's some of the other things I want to mention. I think I remember saying in a previous video, I told everybody those Clippers, they did, they tanked those last two regular season games. They tanked against the two weakest teams in the league. I said they were going to regret that. If people just think it's just Luka, that's all we have to worry about. This Mavs team's not legit. Look, the Mavs are just one good player. It doesn't have to be a superstar, an all-star. But if you give them one more good, solid player, they can give them 15 or 20 any given night. This team is a step away from being dangerous in an NBA contender, championship contender. If Porzingis can stay healthy, that's the thing with Dallas. The only reason why they're seeding so low, and because they can't finish in the top four in the Western Conference, because it is a Western Conference. The Western Conference has been the best conference in the NBA since Jordan left. Okay? Since he left the Bulls. Like, ever since then, the Western Conference has been the conference. It has been the toughest conference to win, the toughest conference to make the playoffs every year, in and out, every single year. I don't know how many years I've seen where, hell, I've seen 3 losing record teams in the East make the playoffs several years, several times. Usually, the Western Conference 1 through 8, all of them have winning records. It just shows how tough it is to come out of the West and how tough the West is. But the Mavericks, Porzingis misses times. I'm just saying, if they had a healthy Porzingis to go with Luka and with Brunson and the players that they have on that team, this would be a top 4 seed in the West. I'm just saying, if they could do that a whole year, or if Porzingis would just miss a week or 2 max in a full season, this would be a top 4 seed. The Clippers fucked up trying to play the Mavericks, and I said this could go 7 because last year, if it was not for Porzingis going down those last 2 games or 3 games, Dallas would have beat the Clippers in the first round last year. Dallas would have won that series. And don't you think right now that Dallas doesn't know and doesn't think that in this series right now? They're coming for payback. So I'm going to let y'all know. Here's my bold prediction. Whenever game 2 comes around, which I think is tonight, I'm going to check this right now. All right. But whenever game 2 comes around, Dallas is going to win game 2. They're going to go up 2-0 on the Clippers. That's what I'm saying right now. And there's another thing that here's another thing I want the Mavs to do. I want Boban. I want that 7-foot giant. Like he's like 7'5" or something crazy. I want Boban in that paint. And I want him to have at least 10 or 12 points in that paint. Put Boban in the game, son. I am dead serious. Put Boban in the paint because who in the hell is going to stop that giant on the Clippers? Why I have yet to see him. He didn't even get on the court in game one. Put him in the game. Yeah, just put Boban in the game. Give him, I don't care if you have to give Boban 8 minutes, 8 or 10 minutes. Watch, he'll get you 10 points. Because nobody on the Clippers can guard that big, tall giant down low. I'm just saying, everybody, the Clippers ain't coming out of that first round so easy. I see that as straight up a 7-game series between the Mavs and the Clippers. Now, Celtics and the Nets play. As we know, the Nets are up 1-0. The Nets are gonna the Nets. The Nets are probably gonna take game 2. I think the Nets won't sweep the Celtics, but I think they'll win in 5. The Lakers and the Suns. 10 o'clock tonight or Tuesday. So yes, it's 10 o'clock tonight. I will take the Lakers in game 2. I think AD erases his horrendous game 1 performance, and I think AD at least gets 24 tonight, not his 13 points that he had in game 1. And he will not shoot from the free throw line like he did in game 1 either. So I will take AD with at least 24 points, probably a double-double. Probably have, I'd say 24 and 12 rebounds. No, I think LeBron does decent. I don't think he's going to have like a huge performance that everybody thinks he's always going to have in the playoffs, putting up 40 every game. Everybody thinks he's going to do that all the time. I don't see it. But I will take the Lakers by I'll take the Lakers by 10. 120 to 110 over the Suns tonight to even that series 1-1. The Nets go up 2-0 tonight, and like I said, I think the Mavericks go up 2-0 tonight over the Clippers. I got the Mavs, and here's the thing: people think that all these games are going to be close. I got the Mavs just straight up spanking the Clippers tonight. I think I'm actually going to take the Mavs by 15 tonight. I think Luka is going to come out. I think he's on a mission, at least against this team specifically. And I think Luka puts up over 40 points tonight in a double-double and almost gets a triple-double. I think he'll be like maybe three assists away or something from a triple-double. Or maybe like 3 rebounds, something like that, one of those categories. But I think somebody other than Porzingis goes off also for the Mavericks. I'm going to also say, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that Brunson scores 20. So Luka and Brunson. Plus Porzingis might get his 15. But I'm going to take the Mavericks by 15 tonight. I think they're just going to make a statement tonight and wake. They're going to basically gut punch the Clippers And what's funny is that people were saying that um, Kawhi's going to guard Luka for most of the game. Hope so, Kawhi, because I got him torching you. If that's the case, I got him torching you. Now, Kawhi, I think he disappears tonight, and oddly enough, for the Clippers, I think Paul George actually plays pretty well, considering how he is in the playoffs, which is laughable for the most part. So that's what I got going on. But I want to see Dallas bring in Boban. I want Boban in there for at least 8 to 10 minutes in this game. Because, like I said, who do the Clippers have to guard Boban? Anybody? Yeah, that's what I thought. Nobody. And I believe he's actually one of the. If the Mavs want to beat the Clippers in this series, I think Boban is actually the secret weapon to win this series. It all comes up in all sports. It all comes up to matchups. Sometimes you just have a matchup, and it doesn't have to even be a star player. It's just a matchup where the other team can't do nothing. No matter how hard they try, they just can't stop it. They don't have a 7 footer, let alone somebody that's 7'5" plus like Boban. Yes, he's not that agile. I don't need him out there on the perimeter chucking threes like these bigs in today's game, which I do not like. I hate it. If you're a big, get your ass down in the fucking paint and get the hard buckets at the rim, which Boban can do. He can literally dunk without even jumping. He can stand there and put it in the basket. Now, it's not going to be like that whenever you're guarded. Of course not. But even putting up a shot at 2 foot from the basket, even contested with their small bigs, who's going to, they ain't going to stop it. They don't have an AD down low to guard a big. I mean, they don't even have Montrezl Harrell anymore. He's on the Lakers. So I'm just saying, take advantage of that, Dallas. Put Boban in. Now, this narrative that the Lakers are going to cakewalk or make the NBA Finals, I think is a joke. I'm a Lakers fan, everybody. I got my Lakers hat on. I got my Lakers stuff on my wall behind me. I love my Lakers, but I'm also a realist. You know, it's not every year that you see a 7 or 8 seed win the NBA championship. Okay, that just doesn't happen. And you don't see a team. What happened to the Clippers last year? What was everybody's excuse for the Clippers on why they lost in the playoffs and didn't even make it to the Western Conference Finals? Their whole their whole excuse for the Clippers last year is, oh, it's their first year together and they didn't play a lot together and there wasn't a camaraderie. Okay, if that's the case for the Clippers last year, that's exactly the same case for the Lakers this year. LeBron was out for basic 2 months. AD over basically 2 months on a shortened basketball season, and there's new players on this team that they brought in, and they haven't had time to mesh together. That's basically what I'm using against the Lakers right now to not make it to the NBA Finals. Do I think the Lakers will win the West? No, I do not. No, I do not. The Lakers may make it to the Western Conference Finals, but they ain't making it to the finals. Not this year. That's just my opinion on that. I would love to see them go, but honestly, if the Lakers are to make it to the finals in this playoffs, this Lakers team has to become AD's team, not LeBron's team. This Lakers team goes as AD goes, not as LeBron goes. So if AD, the only way I see it that the Lakers make it to the finals, and I'm just going to speak the truth here, is if AD averages 30 plus points throughout this whole playoffs. Do I see that happening from AD? No. Mainly because what's one problem that a lot of people don't speak of that they should? AD has always had an issue with staying healthy too. Look, we don't even have to go with him coming to Lakers last year. Look at all of his seasons that he was at the Pelicans, and just look at all the injuries and the times he missed with the Pelicans. I mean, I guarantee you, AD's Pelicans, New Orleans Pelicans injuries, and how many he had, looks like somebody with a serious rap sheet and criminal record. That's how much AD got injured with the Pelicans. I guarantee you that dude got at least injured at least 10 times while he was in New Orleans. Like, you just can't trust that he's going to be on the court consistently, in my eyes. I want to see, I got to see a full season where you miss no time. And I have yet to see that with AD. I have yet to see it. Now, I Denver, the Nuggets tied up their series last night because Jokic just went off last night. So the Nuggets tied up their series one apiece. I think he had almost 40. I mean, they just straight up whooped Portland 128 to 109. And like I said, the Joker just went off. And then I don't see this is one series that I laughed at that people thought was going to be another upset. Look, I've always said that Giannis and the Bucks will never win a championship, and I firmly stand behind that. And I want to explain myself. Look, some people crazily thought the Heat would be this Bucks team. No, this isn't last year's. The Heat went into the playoffs on fire and had really, really, really strong camaraderie with their whole core team. That's what overpowered the Bucks last year. And the weakness with the Bucks in the playoffs is in the regular season, you can play full court. You can run up and down the court. Once postseason hits, it becomes a half court game. And that's Giannis's straight up, flat out weakness. If he ain't got the ball in his hands running and gunning, he's average. He's an average player. I've seen too many games in the playoffs where he will flat out miss 10 or 15 shots and score maybe 12 or 14 points in postseason game and way less than 20. Cut his averages in half from the season. Just because it's a whole different style of ball game from postseason to regular season. But I said, look, the Bucks are easily going to dispose of the Heat this year. The Heat has had so many issues. This is not the Heat team that you saw in the finals last year, not remotely close. They fell off the map this year. Their play was average at best. Was the Heat. I mean, in a lot of ways, I think it's because you had those other two shooters, Duncan and I'm trying to remember the other guy's name, but they were shooting lights out from three last year in the postseason, and then they came into this season and the team studied them and then exposed them. Now, the leader of that team wholeheartedly is Jimmy Butler. But Butler's not enough. I would keep Duncan, but I would trade some of the other players. I would trade I think Goran Dragic is still there. I would put him on the block and maybe trade one of the other shooters and see what kind of player you can get in return to put with him and Bam and Jimmy, and then the Heat could maybe make a little run next year, make a little noise. But yes, the Bucks are up 2-0, and I think they'll win this series in 5. But I will say, Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks in the second round, I want you all to know. Don't be surprised if you get knocked out next round. Don't be surprised if Giannis looks below average next round, because it's probably going to happen. I don't even care who you play in the next round. It's just that's why, as good as he is in the regular season, Giannis, I would never build a team around him. Because whenever it comes postseason and it turns into a half-court game, I know that he's garbage. He's not a post-up, jump-shooting style player. He's a ball-in-hand, point guard, contributing an attack. He's an attacker. He's a slasher. That ain't happening. So, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think that since the Joker had his game last night, do you think the Trailblazers or the Nuggets are going to win this series? Let me know about each series in the comments. I am here. I do check on the comments. But let me know what series you think is going to become the best series. Like mine is Dallas and the Clippers is going to be the best first round series. That's just me. Even though I have Dallas winning today too and going up 2-0, the Clippers just ain't going to walk away. But this is going to be a 7-game series. So I think that's my pick for the best first round matchup. You all can let me know what you all think. Some people may say, oh, the Suns and the Lakers are going to go back and forth. Yeah, but yeah, I think that could actually go 6. Like I said, if AD is AD, he'll get past the Suns. But if they allow Ayton to play like he did in Game 1, then the Lakers are going to get swept. I will say I'm highly impressed with Andre Ayton's Game 1 for the Suns. That was awesome. And whenever he came out of college, he should have been if he could play like that, he could be an all-star in this league. So I think let's just hang tight on this whole Lakers coming out of the West thing. Like I said, Lakers fan here, but just hold the phone. I got to see more from the Lakers. I got to see AD step up, especially after the abysmal Game 1. That was an atrocious Game 1 by AD. I did like in the after the game where he called himself out and he took accountability. I appreciate that in my players. Unlike LeBron James, whenever he has bad games, it seems like he has something else to put the blame somewhere else. I've never liked LeBron. That's not a secret. Lakers fan, but I will tell you this. I'm going to be honest. Whenever he came and signed with the Lakers, I was not happy. Because at first I was like, the narrative right off the bat was as soon as he signed, all I heard was, could he be better than Kobe? Bro, don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful to me. What Kobe did for the city of LA for his entire career is nothing short of magnificent, and it should be honored. And this is way before he passed away. I felt this way. Like I just the notion wherever LeBron goes, it's golden. No, it's not the case. It's just not the case. Now, you won the title last year during a COVID pandemic. That's not. That's probably one of the weakest championship wins in history, in my opinion, in the NBA. I mean, it just is to me. This year, you're a low seed. Let me see what you can do now. Let me see. You're a 7th seed in the West. Let's see what you can do now. I want to see you run a gauntlet as a 7th seed in the West. Now, I'm still upset that he didn't have to sit out for 10 games like every other player did. Whenever he went to his little fucking Baca event and didn't get suspended whenever Harden had to sit down, Schroeder, so many players. Go look at the list of players that got caught at events or was out in public and around a large group of people, had to quarantine and had to sit out a certain amount of time because it's a new law in the NBA right now. But this one dude named Queen James didn't have to do it. And I'm going to tell you all why. And I'm going to be 100 with you. Like I said so many times, this is my team. It's because the NBA ratings are so low right now. And because their numbers have tanked, the NBA's numbers have tanked, that they knew, especially for playoffs, for their numbers to go up, they needed LeBron on the court. That is the main reason why they let him skate by. And LeBron knew it. Don't think he didn't know whenever he went to that event. But also, that shows arrogance. Because what if they said you have to be like every other player and you have to sit out what the rules say? We'd be painting a whole different narrative for game 1 and game 2 and maybe game 3 of these playoffs. Because if they lost in the first round, it would have been on LeBron. But you damn well know LeBron went to that event beforehand knowing that nothing would happen to him. You best believe that. There's no way. There is no way that a star player of a team right at playoff time doesn't find out if he can do this and ain't going to get penalized for several games in the playoff series. There's no way he would have done that. But I don't like how you can show favoritism to one person over the rest of the entire league. I don't like that one bit. But yet everybody this year has hounded Kyrie Irving for all of his issues. But nobody's really hounding LeBron James. Whenever I saw that picture and that photo shoot picture, I was livid. Because I honestly thought there could still be a chance he would have to sit out. And I would have been like, this is how much you are about yourself over your fucking team, dude. He's a selfish son of a bitch. And I'm on board saying that he should have had to sit out like everybody else. I don't care if we were down 2-0, 3-0 to the Suns. I don't give a shit. You can't be a hypocritical commissioner. I mean, you just can't be that. If I was a commissioner, my rule applies to the last person that makes any team, a practice squad player, even if it was the NFL. If you're the last person on the depth chart of your practice squad, and you're the star quarterback of your team, I'm going to treat both players the same whenever it comes to the rule book. I'm not going to show any favoritism. It could be Joe Smo and Tom Brady break the same rule. Guess what? They're both going to sit out the same amount of time. And I don't give a shit that it's Tom Brady. Now, let me know who y'all think is going to win their games 2s tonight. Like I said, I got Dallas going up 2-0 on the Clippers tonight. I got them straight up tonight, not being in the close game. I think they're going to flat out just win by like around 15 points. I think it's because it's not just going to be Luka that's going to be doing good. I think some role players, some bench players. I'll put it out here. I think my bold prediction of the night: somebody on the bench will come in from the Mavericks and put up 20 points, at least. At least. Basically, somebody from the Mavericks is going to be Jamal Crawford in mine. Because that was one of my favorite 6-man. That's one of my favorite bench guys of all time in the NBA. I love Jamal Crawford. I love what that dude did. I love what he stood for. I liked him. So, yeah. Now, I do have the Lakers tying up the series tonight. AD will have a big game. LeBron will have a decent game considering what his postseason numbers usually are. They're not going to be quite that. Because, like I said, I do have conversations sometimes where people do message me on here. And you guys can message me anytime. I'm fine. I do reply. But this notion where he's going to put up 40 every game in the playoffs is just absurd. I mean, you also do have to take into account the dude's getting up there in age. Can't play like that now. Can't put up 40 every night. We know that the postseason LeBron thing, I get it, but this thing, oh boy, camera just fell. Hang on. All right. Wow. Thanks, Kat, for pulling the cord on the camera. Yeah, go lay down. But what I'm saying is, I think he'll have maybe like his 20 or 25 points, LeBron. He'll have his assists, he'll have some rebounds and stuff, but not your typical, 30 triple double kind of game, double double. I don't see that. But I do have AD scoring. I think he might get up towards 30. I do think he'll have a strong double double. I think he'll have a couple few blocks. I think he'll play big tonight. My other thing that I really want AD to stop doing, because I think he could take over the reins for this franchise. This notion in today's game, like, I don't watch a lot of the regular season games, to be honest, of the NBA. I'm not that big of a fan of the NBA as much as I used to be. I don't like today's game compared to the 90s, compared to the early 2000s. I don't like seeing every team with their big stepping out there thinking they can chuck threes. I think that's fucking ludicrous. A big's job, a center's job, is to post up the fucking paint. That's it. To me, the perfect big was fucking Shaq. He knew his role, and he did it to perfection. Akeem Olajuwon knew his role, did it to perfection. AD, you are not that great. You can hit threes, but you're not a fucking 40% three-point shooter. I mean, you're just not. I mean, you don't have to do that. AD could get so much more damage and so many more foul calls and cause the other team to basically hurt due to fouls and stuff if he just post up in the fucking paint. If he would do that and just play that way, this Lakers team could be dangerous even if it wasn't with a primed LeBron. Because we do know there's going to be games, like every 3 games. You're going to have that one game out of like 3 or 4 games where Kuzma's going to go off. Don't discredit Kuzma. Because every once in a while he rolls in there. Kuzma rolls in there with almost a 30-point game every 3 or 4 games. You can count on a big game occasionally from Kuzma. Well, there's other players that can step up and do other things. But if I see him and Marc Gasol chucking up threes tonight, I'm just gonna be like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I get that the game has changed mainly due to Steph Curry. I get that. And Dame Lillard. I get it. It extended out to the 3-point line. But still, teams that, to me, if you can attack that basket and get more twos and some and ones and some more free throws, to me, and be a decent 3-point shooting team, you don't have to be a top 5 in the league, maybe a top 10, 15. That's still going to be my team to beat. Why? Because your chances of making more twos over threes is exponentially better to me percentage-wise. I mean, I don't know how many times I have been watching. I watched there for a couple years with this new style, but I've seen games where like they would literally let them keep shooting. It's like, oh, he went 2 for 14 for threes. Well, why did the coaching staff even let him shoot fucking 14 of them? Like, I don't get that. I'll tell you something. Back whenever I was in high school and played, If I started, let's say, okay, you finished 2 for 14. Let's say I started 1 for 8. Do you think my coach is gonna keep chucking it? Really? Fuck no. He's gonna put my ass on the bench. Like, take a fucking seat, dude. Like, no, no. But you can do that in today's game. There's a handful of players that can be consistently good. Now, everybody saw whenever Golden State started winning these titles and how they played. Every team thinks that they can do that. Not every team or every player can do that. I wish the league would understand this. Like, I mean, for Christ's sakes, how many threes do you see Karl-Anthony Towns shoot a game? Like, what the fuck is he doing? Bro, get your ass in the paint, back him up, body him up, fucking attack the basket. Too many of these bigs just play stupid. I don't like it one bit. Do you think the Spurs would have been great if Tim Duncan shot 10 plus threes a game? Do you think Greg Popovich would have let Tim Duncan shoot 10 or more threes a game as a big man? That might be the better question. Hell no. Hell no. Why? Because Tim Duncan did his damage down low and he knew his place. And he also had, now, me personally, I want Tim with the midi. Tim had a beautiful midi. Like, that dude could shoot a midi. Like, hell, I'll let Tim shoot it from the free throw line on a jump shot. I don't care. I'll be okay with that. I'll take my chances with that. My point is, today's players force way too much shit when those aren't the players that they are. Like, today's this game today, and it's sad because a lot of people have been hypocritical of him lately and been attacking him this year, and I don't like it one bit because I'll tell you what, whenever he hits that court, he may not have the greatest attitude whenever it comes to talking, and he may be extremely arrogant, which he is. I'm going to say it right now. But I will tell you what, every time he steps on that court, he gives you 1,000% every game. He goes full force every game. And that's Russell Westbrook. I'll tell you what, today's game has ruined that man. Because that dude, I wish he would stop shooting threes. I would wish he would stop shooting threes because that motherfucker cannot shoot threes that good. But even he has to go with today's game. But it's ruined his game. So many of these players in today's NBA could be really good players, but basically they're forced to play a certain way that isn't to their strengths. And the NBA's wondering why their viewership has gone to the shit. And Shaq, Charles Barkley, and them, and their show is doing amazing. Do you want to know why their show's doing amazing? Because basically people pop on just to see what the score is and to see the highlights. Because they prefer to see that shit than to watch the bullshit they put on the court. Because a lot of people played basketball growing up and they know that this shit wasn't a fly. Being able to go 1 for 10 and still be in the fucking game and still be able to chuck it up. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I mean, one of the best times basketball was for me, of course, was three-peat Lakers. But did you see how they won? Like, let's make a joke here. Let's get funny. We already know how Shaq's free throws. We already know that shit's funny. Okay, but could you imagine if fucking coach said, "Hey Shaq, I need you to chuck 10 threes at least tonight." What the fuck? Could you imagine Shaq shooting threes? Jesus. That'd be fucking hilarious. And that three just landed at the free throw line. Yeah, no joke. Like he might have the record for the most air balls in his career if he would have played it, if they made him do that shit. But no, that dude was putting up monster numbers because he just played monster defense and he just backed you down at the rim and attacked and dunked on your ass. He played to its strengths. That's the problem with these NBA teams and in sports in general. Look, every year is not your year to win the title. Whenever all sports teams in all sports around the world realizes that, the better their sports will be. Some seasons just ain't your year. Yes, you want to compete. Yes, make a run at it. Of course, because you never know. Injuries could happen, this and that. You never know. But my issue, play to your team's strengths. Don't play into other team's strengths and act like that's what you have to do to keep up. No, just play your ball. Play your ball and take your chances. I mean, let's use an example here. The prime Golden State Warriors team against those Lakers. Yes, we know Curry and Clay are going to get the threes, but how many games would they go by where they're awful? They have a lot of games where they shoot real well. They have a lot of games where they shoot awful. But if you had Shaq, Kobe, and them doing what they do, Kobe with his fadeaways, his other shots, he'll his occasional threes, and Shaq just attacking the basket on Draymond. Who wins that series? The Lakers. Easy. The Lakers win that easy. In 5, maybe 6 games. Why? Because Shaq is going to be more consistent in the paint than Clay or Steph shooting three. It's just facts. Yes, could one the games that they lose, the 1 or 2 games, would it be because Golden State got hot from the arc and it just was more than enough? It was just they made enough to beat the Lakers. Yes, but you got to live with that. You still played your game. So yes, um, please do hit me up on there. You can message me. You can also I'm going to tell y'all other places where y'all can find me. I am also on Twitter and I am also on Twitch. I do play games and stream and stuff. But message me. Who do y'all think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win the chip this year? Me, right? I do have the Nets. I just think that's too powerful of a squad. If they're all healthy, if all three play in the playoffs together, they're just they're too potent. And to me, everybody keeps switching who the key player is going to be. To me, the key mainly is Kyrie, not because of his play on the court, but because all the shit he's done this year and how weird he's been. That's the X factor for me. Because I know Harden and I know Durant's going to get there. But I just need Kyrie to mentally be focused and zone in. Because obviously lately he's come out saying that basketball is not even on his mind really right now. As long as he can just stay focused in, they're winning the chip. But let me know who y'all think are going to win the championship. Let me know if y'all also I'm one of those. Look, I'm a Lakers fan. Got my Lakers hat. Got my hat. Got my stuff on. I got my Kobe. Yeah, I get it. I'm a Lakers fan. They're not coming out of the West, guys. I'm not one of those fans that have the Lakers going to the finals. I don't. They're not. I don't. They're not. Maybe the Western Conference Finals. That's the best they're going. But let me know who you all got for your NBA finals. Let me know who you got winning, and let me know who you think in this playoffs will be the best matchup. And mine is in the first round, and I already said I think it's going to be the Mavericks and Clippers in a 7-game series in a slugfest. And ultimately, y'all want a shocker? I got the Mavs beating the Clippers 4-3. That's just me. And it's believe it or not, it's not going to be because of PG. I think PG is going to have several games where he plays really well, but it's still not going to be enough, in my opinion. As long as Porzingis can stay healthy and just be okay on the court, just give 15 consistently, get your rebounds and assists. That's all I really need from Porzingis for the series, and put Boban in because nobody can give him 10 minutes a game, please, Mavs, because they're going to have so hard of an issue at the basket stopping Boban. And you're going to get them in serious foul trouble if you just put Boban in for a little bit. Like, seriously, put Boban in. I just don't know who could match up with him 2 feet from the basket. For the Clippers, that seriously, that's the secret weapon in this series is Boban. They don't have Montrezl Harrell. They don't have really great defensive. They put Boban in. Like I said, he could probably give you 12 points in 10 minutes just by attacking the paint or just getting it and just. I'm just telling you. But thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. I'm gonna have more videos and stuff. I will be back on tomorrow to talk about the games tomorrow. I think I did say I do have the Lakers tying up the series tonight, one apiece. I do have the Mavs going up 2-0 tonight on the Clippers. So you can also check me out on Twitch if you're a gamer. It's it's the name of this channel, all in one word, Rocky Sports Talk Sheet. You can follow me there, please. And also on Twitter at Rocky Sports, ROCKEY Sports. You can check me out on there. And thank you all for tuning in. I know a lot of y'all watch my clips, but y'all don't subscribe. Please subscribe. It really does help me out, and it will really it does a lot for me. So I really would appreciate it. Thank you guys. There are so many other videos. Like I said, I have yet to hit the 3 months mark as a YouTuber, and I have a boatload of videos on there. I have different kind of videos. I have lists. I have top list, top 10, top 15. I think I have like my top 50 NFL players. I have all kinds of different lists. There's all kinds of different content out there, so check them out. I really like the one that I did recently where I did the top 15 number one overall picks in NBA history and ranked them from bottom to top. And I even said early in that video, LeBron's not number one. So just go check that out if you like. But anyways, thank you all for watching. And until next time, peace out, everybody.